So Gregory is speaking out about everything that took place with Amber, but he's saying something that he's never said before, guys. And I find this article to be very interesting. So just keep an open eye, an open ear, whatever the hell the saying is. People are talking about Molly-Mae and potentially new fillers that she's doing. Yewande'S, we've got to get into that. We just have a lot of Love Island news. Let's put it all into a video. Hey guys, it's Molly. Hope you guys are doing well today. Back at it again with another video. If you have not subscribed, guys, click that button for daily and consistent content. Head over to my Instagram, my Patreon, my merch, and let's get straight into this video. Subscribe. Click that button. So let's get straight into this. Let's get into the Gregory stuff for a little bit later. But of course, there's been Cosmopolitan magazine front covers. I believe there's been several Love Islanders. Montana, I think, has done one. Samira has done one. I believe there was another Islander, but I've probably forgotten. Molly-Mae has done one, and Yewande'S has done one as well. Now, maybe I'm being biased by saying this, guys, but I don't even think I am. I like to remain objective. But I think Yewande'S, I feel like her cover looks absolutely amazing. I feel like she's done the best here in terms of all the girls. I mean, we shouldn't really compare them, to be honest with you. So let me retract that. But I do feel like she looks absolutely stunning. Like, if you look at her face, she is working the camera. The pose is everything. Is this denim on denim? I don't even know if this denim. I don't even think denim on denim looks that great, but she makes it look great. And I feel like she just looks absolutely amazing. With her name printed on the front, Yewande'S, I'm pretty sure if Lucy didn't know before, she's most definitely going to know how or what her name is. I think it looks absolutely amazing. Just that was, out of all the covers, hers is the one that really caught my eye. I'm like, okay, this girl is really working the camera. So maybe she can really look into modeling, because, you know, that could be potentially a profession. Now, Molly-Mae is obviously causing some, you know, kind of, not friction, but some critique. And I feel like this particular subject is very sensitive because you don't really know how to tackle it. She's doing a Cosmopolitan interview, talking about, you know, Tommy Fury, and talking about, you know, marriage and kids. And I feel like that is definitely the route that I hopefully see them going down. I feel like they are a strong couple. I feel like all of us didn't really, not all of us, but the majority of us didn't believe they were a good couple at the time. Producers, edit, whatever you want to call it, we all thought they were fake, whatever, but time has told that they obviously are not, and they are both doing very well, and hopefully it stays that way. But I set aside from talking about the marriage potential and kids, which I can't wait for, she is in this interview seeming to be a little bit different when it comes to the physicality or her appearance.
Making mistakes with 5 million plus people watching me make them, so.
You know, with perhaps cheek fillers or something that she may have done, or something that may have been done over the, something that may have been done by accident or a bit too much, or you don't really realize it, whatever. She is young, she's 21 or 22, I believe. This is a very sensitive topic, because how do you even tackle it? I'm not for somebody getting surgery or fillers, because I feel like, you know, you're very beautiful beforehand. I feel like she was very beautiful prior to Love Island, and she didn't really need to do any alterations. I feel like in the world we live in today with social media, and people use filters and editing live stuff before they even use a filter on Instagram to uphold this image, is so dangerous for young girls, for young guys, for all of us. We see these bodies, these six packs, these, you know, edited faces. We see all this crazy stuff, and you just think it's real, and it's not actually reality. It's fake. It's like some kind of duplicity, and you think that it's real, and you want to aspire to be something that you can't. Like, for example, there are so many PTs out there, guys, for men who want to train you to have this beautiful big body, but what they don't tell you is that they are jacked up on steroids. So they're sending you a fake persona, and it's so dangerous because you're chasing after something that doesn't even exist. So I feel like with this topic, of course, she went viral a year or so ago about fillers and stuff, and I feel like when you're having this conversation, I think you can have it and object to surgery, object to these fillers, but rather do that, but not be derogatory with how somebody looks. I feel like there are some comments saying that she looks like this, or she looks really bad like that, and I feel like it's just very unwarranted, and you don't need to be rude about it and disrespect somebody about it and be derogatory with your comments. I feel like that is just not really needed, in all honesty. Like, it's just really not needed at all. Like, I remember with Zac Efron stuff, even I was like, oh, you know, the person's like Squidward, and I just feel like that in itself wasn't right for me to say. I feel like anybody should be, you know, accountable of their own actions, look at what they say, and I just feel like that in itself wasn't really helpful to anything or conducive, so it was a bit pointless. Like Chloe, for example, I just feel like people around her kind of failed her, because you change your face so many times, and nobody around you is telling you that you don't need to do so, that you are enough as you are. Because I don't think she was the ugly girl growing up, but a lot of people classed her at that, and that can really damage your confidence. But at the same time, it's hard to have empathy for people that do stuff like this, because they're also grown individuals doing. It's a very sensitive conversation, and you can't really tackle it in a way without offending somebody. It's a very sensitive conversation, but I just feel like the girl Molly-Mae is beautiful prior to surgery and fillers. She doesn't need to do all of this, and it can become an addiction that when you start at a young age can become worse. I didn't like her doing it beforehand, and I expressed that only for her to reveal that she has regrets doing whatever she did. She did it without her parents' permission, and she did it when she was too young. So, she already had these regrets, and I feel like when you do things like this when you're young, hopefully you stop and you have these regrets and you limit yourself, or you just go OTT and lose it, and you don't even realize who you are in 15-20 years. And I really hope that doesn't happen with Molly-Mae. She seems to be a very smart girl, so hopefully it just doesn't. But I just feel like you don't need to be derogatory and rude about it. You don't. We have Alexandra from Love Island the season before, 2018, who was causing some friction because she's online talking about the vaccines, saying that, we don't need the vaccines. Ironically, she was dating a doctor on the show, and that, I literally got vaccinated a couple of days ago. I feel like we've all been vaccinated with several other stuff prior to the COVID stuff. Hilarious that she was talking about how, it can make you infertile, when apparently COVID can make you infertile and can give you guys erectile dysfunction and so forth. So I don't know. Apparently she was doing a diet plan before, and that apparently missed her period. Like, there's a lot of these mishaps, and I feel like, we've already had a lot of vaccines when you're traveling, when you're a kid, hepatitis B, or you've had this, that, you've always had a vaccine passport or vaccine injections, even when we were all young, even when we were all babies and kids. So I just feel like everybody has their own opinions on vaccines, but obviously I am very pro vaccine. My family are full of doctors. They've all got in it. They've all been absolutely fine, safe. There's been no issues with it. And I feel like it's a pandemic, and, people are going to get it. But also, people are not going to get it. Anybody's entitled to do whatever they do. I do feel like communities may not feel like they wish to get it, because there have been in the past people using stuff to trick them, and inject the wrong stuff in them. That has happened in the past. So I guess I can understand why people would feel a certain way about injections. Now, this Gregory stuff. Listen, guys, we've got to get into this Gregory stuff and break it down, because this article that he's done for the Daily Mail, this interview that he's done, is absolutely insane. It's been nearly 2 years. It actually has been 2 years since his season has started, but we're still talking about Gregory and Amber. Absolutely mad. Gregory! Damn, I'm missing that name. Gregory. Anyways, guys, for Course on Love Island, this article is rude. Why is that? For Course on Love Island, winner Gregory shunned fame after receiving death threats over ex Amber Gill's claim that he dumped her by text, which he passionately denies. In his first interview since winning the series in 2019, Gregory revealed him and his family were bombarded with hateful messages after it was falsely claimed by Amber and her management that he carelessly dumped her over text. The thing is, I've seen quite a few people's reactions over this, and they're like, oh my god, I can't believe people send him death threats, I can't believe it. We're now looking at the situation 2 years after. As soon as they left and they got dumped, and apparently he dumped her by text, a lot of people were invested more then than now. So the stake of emotions as an audience were higher then than now. So obviously you're going to look back at it and think that people may have overreacted. But at the time, everybody was heavily invested. And that will happen with this season as well. If the same scenario happens, we're going to be invested if the show's on or just ended. But give it till 2023, 2024, we're going to look back at it and we're not going to be as invested. So for people to say, I can't believe people sent death threats or were upset, more time you were probably sending death threats to another islander who did something else at the time. Everybody gets heavily invested in these shows. So you have to take that into consideration, and I don't think a lot of people do that. Not that one is justifying it, but people don't realize that you keep looking at a situation with a lack of emotions 2 years on from when there was a high amount of emotions from an audience. They're just going to be jumping in. Not that I think that people should be sending death threats, but I mean in terms of people being very opinionated about it. Gregory says, I have never actually come out and told my side of the story because my management and other people have advised me against it. We did the whole, when it was all happening, I was like, I have screenshots, I can release a statement with screenshots to show people the truth. But it was only going to add fuel to the fire, and I took the brunt of it. It was hard to bite my tongue, but that's just the way it played out. We did the whole after show thing, and then it got to us speaking to each other away from the cameras, and she asked, are we going to be boyfriend and girlfriend? Are we going to be a proper couple? I said to her, realistically, I don't know how this is going to work. You're in England and everyone wants a bit of you. You have your own clothing deals, and I'm going back to Ireland and going to try and do the Olympics. I said, can we see how it plays out for the next while? But she didn't really like that and got upset that I didn't want to automatically be girlfriend and boyfriend. This was all on FaceTime. She said, I don't really want to be with someone who isn't sure they want to be with me, and we left it at that. The next day she got onto me again, and she calmed down and agreed with me. I told her, I can't make you happy as much as you deserve. I can't be there for you. Maybe we should go with what you said last night and part ways now and be realistic about the situation. I think she expected me to fight for it, but I had to be realistic and look at it as a proper relationship and not the Love Island winners. This was all on FaceTime. Then I had to go to training, so I put my phone down, and I come back after an hour and my phone was blowing up. An article released saying Gregory breaks up with Amber over text. I could not believe it. The events that happened never convinced the sportsman he wasn't cut out for fame, and instead of getting likes or fans, most of his Love Island co-stars, he lost a huge 600,000 followers on Instagram after Amber's army of loyal supporters attacked him and his family. Gregory continued, I rang her and said, what's the story? Why would you do that? You know that's not the truth. And she said, it wasn't me, it was my people. They just released it. And she didn't want it to happen. I said, well, it's happened now, and I look like a terrible person. It went really badly. It's 2 years ago at this stage, but I was getting death threats. Hate mail. My friends and family were getting death threats. My mother was getting calls. People messaged my mother saying, you gave birth to a little P.K. P-R-I-C-K. I don't know what that means. And they told her to go and do stuff to herself. It was very bad. Her fan is like an Amber army, and I can see why, because she has everything going for her. When they turned on me, it was very scary. I could deal with it because I had the lads around me, but it was very sad for my mother, who got so upset. It got brutal for a while. I lost 600,000 followers in a short space of time. Everything flipped on me, thinking I was a bad person. It's been brushed over now. Then I was like, do you know what? Maybe I'm not cut out for this crazy lifestyle. So I tucked myself away back in Ireland and kept training with the team full time. Interesting. So he is obviously expressing that there was no dumping by text and that Amber lied. This is what he is saying. It's a very different story. He didn't release it because his management advised him against him. I feel like that in itself is very poor advice. He should have just released it with the screenshots and defended himself, because anybody should. Anybody should. Of course, I favored Amber over Gregory. I mean, who wouldn't? If you've had that someone who dumped something by text and this person's the winner, and I like the way she, her journey, but one has to remain objective and just and fair when it comes to reviewing any Love Island. That's just how it really should be. But at the same time, this is a completely different story, and he's never revealed this. So this in itself is very crazy, kind of exposing her in a way, saying that she's a liar, and I find this to be very brutal. So apparently they had a conversation on FaceTime, and they came to some kind of agreement. It was quite mutual, a bit tense here and there, but not as bad. But there was no text. And apparently he got back to his phone within an hour or so and saw that this all got leaked, or she told somebody, or some management found out, and he just got... And then she went on to Loose Women to say that, I don't even know. It's very, very interesting, because he's brought a whole different side to that scenario and story. Why would you wait 2 years to do so? I really don't know. You could have even done this last year, because of course there was a new season of Love Island and everything. So I don't know why you waited so long to do so. Maybe you just wasn't bothered to say it, but now you have, because you've spoken about the situation plentiful of times, but you haven't discussed this part. You're only doing this now. So I find that to be weird. But at the same time, it's understandable, and I can see his perspective, and we should look at it both on a fair basis, not trying to degrade or be rude to the other. I just like to try to be fair and just, guys, regardless of who I like or dislike. If Yewande was in this position, I would also be saying this. You have to try to be fair with people. Let me reread that again. Greg explained that I've never actually come out and told my side of the story because my management and other people advised me against it. We did the whole after the show thing, and then it got to us speaking to each other away from the cameras, and she asked, are we going to be boyfriend and girlfriend? Are we going to be a proper couple? I said to her, realistically, I don't know how this is going to work. You're in England, everyone wants a bit of you, you have your clothing deals, and I'm going back to Ireland and going to try and do the Olympics. I said, can we see how it plays out for the next while? But she didn't really like that. Can we see how it plays out for the next while? What do you mean play out for the next while? And got upset that I didn't want to automatically be a girlfriend and boyfriend. This was all on FaceTime. She said, I don't really want to be with someone who isn't sure they want to be with me, and we left it at that. Interesting. The next day she got onto me again, and she calmed me down and agreed with me. He says, I told her, I can't make you happy as much as you deserve. I can't be there for you. Maybe we should go with what you said last night and part ways now and be realistic about the situation. So he's saying maybe we should go. He's saying that she said maybe we should go with what you said last night. I think that she expected me to fight for it, but I have to be realistic and look at it at a proper relationship and not the Love Island winners. But this is where my slight issue is. Of course, you're taking this realistic approach, Which, you know, is a fair point to do. You're trying to be realistic, you got your head on your shoulders, but why didn't you have this realistic approach when it came to Love Island? When it came to initially meeting Amber and getting on with her and being put in this situation with her, you know that she doesn't live in Ireland and that she lives in Newcastle and that you live in Ireland. So why would you then carry somebody up until a point where you've won the show together and it's been a couple of weeks down the road, and then suddenly you plant this on her and suddenly you're taking this realistic approach? It doesn't make any sense to me. That is the part that I'm a bit bemused by. Cool, maybe she lied about the text. You know, this is an open possible situation. I feel like, you know, if this is a story, maybe perhaps it's true, perhaps it's not, who knows? I don't know, man, I don't really care. But I just feel like if I've spoken about how bad of a person Gregory is, I feel like if he's telling a side of the story now, that should also be given as a voice to this platform, because I feel like it's just, you need to try to be fair and balanced. That's what I'm trying to do here. But I just feel like this sudden realistic approach was very not sudden and very missing whilst you were on the show, because you knew there was going to be distance anyways. So that is still where my confusion is, because you should have just moved on with Amber and gone with somebody else who was from Ireland, or not go on a show from, and when you know you live in Ireland and everybody else is down the road and in London or anywhere in the UK. I feel like you're always going to go in, like, I just don't know. If I were to go into Love Island USA, okay, that's a bit too far. If I were to go to Love Island France, for example, surely I would know that any relationship probably wouldn't work, because I would have to come back to London and you would be in France. Surely I would have known that prior to going in. Of course, you didn't expect to win, but you would have had some understanding. If you're suddenly being able to have this knowledge of a realistic approach, would you not have had that realistic understanding or approach prior to going on any show that, you know, we're not living in the same country? I don't know if this is going to work. I don't know. Make of this information what you will, guys. Very long video. Let me know what your thoughts are when it comes to this. What are your thoughts about this whole Gregory Amber situation? Very confusing. Just wanted to give you guys a balanced view on this. Molly-Mae and stuff. Yewande looks absolutely gorgeous with the photo shoot, and of course Alexandra. And I assume there's more Love Island news. I don't know. The show is starting on June 28th, I believe. Pretty late. I'm quite irritated. I want it to start on June 21st. I don't know why it's starting so flipping late. Of course, COVID and whatever, but still. Apparently they've got their cast locked and loaded. I just hope the cast are diverse, because I will always defend black and brown individuals from the show, whether you guys like it, whether some like it or don't like it. I really don't give a F. I know I don't appeal to the mass white audience of Love Island. I really don't care. I'm here to defend black and brown individuals. You know, the racism that they experience on the show is no different to the racism that we experience in the dating world. And I feel that racism is a subject that white people can analyze and study for fun or for seriousness, because they don't experience it, where it's something that we deal with on a daily life basis. Even wearing this might trigger some people in the video. Who really knows, guys? I really don't really care. But I will always defend black and brown individuals. I made that very clear. So hopefully they have a diverse cast, and hopefully they're just like morals, where they're just dramatic and funny, and they just like bring in the drama. Hopefully we get that from the season. Love Island USA starting around the same time, I think a week or two after. I think that in itself is pretty stupid. I don't know why it's doing that. They should have waited, because Love Island, nobody's going to really care about it. I'm going to keep it very real with you right now. Nobody is going to care about Love Island USA. Nobody is going to care about Love Island USA when Love Island is on. That is the main show. That is where everyone's going to be tuned on to. This Love Island USA should have started a month afterwards from when this ends, so that we carry on the Love Island buzz for those who miss it and want it to go to a different show. That would just make more sense. The last show was in September. I think that's a great timing for it. You know, after we've digested the Love Island season, but to watch both at the same time, I think it's just a lot. If I'm here, God willing I am, you never know what could happen. God willing if I am, giving 2-day reviews on Love Island on separate shows is going to be insane, guys. Absolutely insane. So my show, I believe my channel is probably going to be littered with Love Island content. For those who say I talk about the royals too much or the Kardashians too much, Love Island, I can really, you know when you can really sense a tsunami or a big wave? That is Love Island wave, beloveds. That is about to come through and overtake everything. Anyways, guys, let me know what your thoughts are when it comes to this video. What are your thoughts? A very long 20-minute video. Subscribe to the channel. Click that button, guys, for daily and consistent content. Subscribe, and I'll catch you guys soon for another video.